Right now, someone is watching Evangelion for the first time and completely missing what makes this anime a masterpiece. Hideaki Anno crafted each major character to embody one of the 7 deadly sins. There are 2 types of Evangelion fans, those who truly understand the characters and those who don't. And if you're watching this video, chances are you're tired of surface level essays that miss the devastating psychological core. After studying the colors, the food, the design, and hundreds of frames of animation that most viewers miss, I've uncovered the deliberate pattern that explains why this character feels so painfully human, and why their story still resonates 30 years later. Let's start with the architect of humanity's near destruction, Gendo Ikari. Gendo doesn't just have pride, he is pride incarnate. Cold, calculating, and convinced he alone knows what's best for the entire human race. Notice how Anno frames him visually, always above others, hands folded in front of his face, glasses hiding his eyes. These aren't random choices. They visually represent a man who sees himself as superior, who hides his emotions, who manipulates everyone around him. His ultimate goal: to trigger the third impact and reunite with his dead wife Yui by remaking reality itself. That's pride on a god tier level. But here's what most viewers miss. Gendo's pride isn't strength, it's weakness. It's his inability to process grief normally. Rather than face his pain, he chooses to destroy the world and rebuild it on his own terms. Then there's Asuka Langlesoryu, Wrath, personified. What makes Asuka's character so brilliant isn't just her anger, it's how that anger functions as armor. Every explosive outburst, every cruel comment, every reckless battle charge, they're all defensive moves. Remember the devastating scene where we see our childhood trauma, our mother's suicide, the doll that received all that mother's love, while Asuka was ignored? That's the genius of Evangelion. Asuka's rage isn't just a personality trait, it's her desperate attempt to be seen, to matter, to prove she exists. When her abilities as a pilot falter, her identity crumbles because anger can't protect her anymore. Before I reveal the most misunderstood character's deadly sin, I couldn't really find one that applies to Rei. Get back to me in the comments if you can think of something. Shinji Ikari embodies Sloth, but not the way most people think. Shinji's loss isn't physical laziness, it's emotional withdrawal. His signature phrase, "I mustn't run away," isn't courage. It's his desperate fight against his deepest instinct to give up and disappear. Watch how often Shinji lies motionless after trauma, how he isolates himself with headphones, how he repeatedly tries to quit nerve. These aren't random character traits, they're manifestations of emotional sloth. His journey isn't about becoming brave, it's about finding the will to exist at all, even for a moment, even when existence means pain. Now, let's talk about Misato Katsuragi, a character whose sin goes far deeper than fanservice. Misato embodies lust, not just sexual desire, but a desperate craving for sensation to escape emotional numbness. Watch how her apartment mirrors her internal state, chaotic, cluttered, filled with empty beer cans. This visual storytelling isn't accidental. Her living space reflects a woman using physical pleasures to drown out the trauma of watching her father die during second impact. Her relationship with Kaji isn't simply romantic, it's her grasping for connection through the only language she knows, physical intimacy. And in perhaps the most uncomfortable moment of this series, when she kisses Shinji before the final battle, we're seeing her tragic limitation. She can't motivate or connect without using her body. What makes Misato's character brilliant is that she knows she's broken. She recognizes her patterns, but can't escape them. Her lust isn't about pleasure, it's about feeling anything at all through the emotional scar tissue. Ritsuko Akagi's sin is the coldest and most calculating: envy. Most viewers see a brilliant scientist, but miss how her entire character is defined by living in shadows. Her mother's shadow, Rei's shadow, even her relationship with Gendo mirrors her mother's. A desperate attempt to matter, to someone who sees her as a commodity. Pay attention to the visual framing when Ritsuko finally snaps and destroys Rei clones, the lighting, the echoing chamber, her expression, everything conveyed the moment when envy completely consumes rational thought. Her genius makes her envy even more painful. She's smart enough to understand exactly what she's feeling and why, but powerless to stop it. That's the cruel irony of her character. All that intelligence can't save her from the most primal emotion of all, wanting what someone else has. Kaji Ryoji represents gluttony in its most dangerous form, not for food, but for knowledge. His watermelon garden isn't just a quirky character trait, it's symbolic of his nature, cultivating things hidden beneath the surface, things that take patience to grow. But unlike his plants, his hunger for truth can never be satisfied. Notice how Kaji moves through the series. He plays every side: nerve, seal, the Japanese government, consuming information regardless of the risk. His famous line about being too far in to turn back isn't just spy movie dialogue. It's the confession of a man whose appetite has sealed his fate. What makes his gluttony so compelling is that it's almost noble. He seeks truth in a world of lies. But like all things in Evangelion, it ultimately destroys him, proving that even the most justified appetite can be deadly when taken to extremes. Finally, we come to the coldest sin of all, the greed of Kill Lorenz. While Gendo wants to become God to reunite with his wife, Kill's motivation is pure greed for immortality and power. Look at him, more machine than human, clinging to life through technology, planning humanity's forced evolution not out of love or even twisted idealism, but fear of death. The human instrumentality project isn't salvation, it's the ultimate act of cosmic greed. Kill doesn't want to share the world or accept its limits. He wants to possess everything, to erase individual suffering by erasing individuality itself. His visual design tells the whole story. Hidden behind visors, speaking through monolith, is humanity already fading away. He represents greed in its final form, not wanting more things, but wanting to become everything. What makes Evangelion a masterpiece isn't just that this character embodies sins, it's that their sins interact in a perfect storm of human frailty. Shinji's withdrawal fits Asuka's rage. Gendo's pride enables Ritsuko's envy. Misato's lust compounds Kaji's dangerous pursuit of knowledge. Evangelion doesn't condemn these characters, it simply shows real human beings trying to survive their own minds, their sins aren't evil, their coping mechanisms gone wrong. They are what happens when trauma meets power. That's why the series endures decades later. It's not about giant robots or religious symbolism. It's about the struggle to connect despite the darkness